YouTube? It's your boy Johnny Finesse. Welcome back to the channel. And today we have the Apple event. We watching Marcus's reaction video type. He's gonna review the products from the Apple event, and then we're gonna react to them. If you're new to the channel, then hit that sub button. New to the channel, haven't subscribed yet, hit that sub button. We're on the road to 800 subscribers, so sub up please, and also hit the bell notifications too, so you don't miss a thing again. Also hit that like button too, bro. It helps us out with the algorithm. Just hit that, smash that like button. Feel me? Let's get into it.
Hey, what's up? mkbhd here, and today was the first Apple event of the calendar 2021 year, another virtual one, and another pretty action-packed one. The spring-loaded title was well-deserved. So this video is me breaking down and reacting to all three of the major announcements, because there were three, and each of the three was very different from the other. Also, this video is sponsored by ExpressVPN, so for more info on that, stay tuned to the end, but I'll also have a link below on how to get 3 months for free. So today was April 20th, 420, and it was a very busy 420. The Apple event was filled with a lot of great transitions per usual. At this point, it feels like I have to watch the keynotes once for the new products, then one more time for the key specs and all the facts and information, and then one more time for the cinematography. It's really good. Like, how is their audio so good? Where are their mics? How are they that stable on a boat in the middle of the bay? But anyway, at the end of the day, we have three new major announcements. AirTags, M1 iMacs, and M1 iPad Pros.
M1.
There's chapters below if you're that impatient. But let's just start with AirTags, shall we? This was the one that we were looking forward to for the longest time. They were rumored forever, and it was just a question of when Apple was actually going to release them. So now they're unveiled, and this is AirTags. So they're a little quarter-sized puck that connects to iPhone's Find My network, so you can find them anywhere. And they have a little speaker built in, so you can ping them and they'll make a noise. But the main way you'd find them is the same way you'd use Find My iPhone or Find My Mac. Then, when you're within Bluetooth range, the ultra-wideband U1 chip in iPhone 11 or iPhone 12 will show you exactly how far away it is and where to look, guiding you to finding it.
Oh, that's
simple,
pain.
But super useful. AirTags just make a lot of sense, and this Find My network has been so useful for so long because it runs off the backs of everyone else's iPhones. So when someone passes by an AirTag that's been lost, it passively updates the location of that AirTag in the background, and it just keeps everybody's stuff on the map, if you will. Also, if someone finds a lost AirTag, they can touch their iPhone to it, and it'll show a name and a phone number, and they can get in touch with you if that was yours. So they'll cost $29 for one.
That's pain. So if you find that shit and that shit gets near your phone, bro,
or $99 for a 4-pack.
That's not bad.
I was thinking about it. It's not that bad.
That's not bad. That's
right,
great.
About the same price as the cheapest tiles, but it's just super well integrated. Like, if you were picking between this and any other, if you have an iPhone,
you might as well get that.
Ecosystem. Actually, my main question would be, what would you find with them to justify a 4-pack? I feel like they were really smart about doing 4 instead of 3. So,
yeah, because house keys, car keys, and then if you want to give one to somebody, boom, boom, boom. Like, you feel me? Like, house keys, car keys, you can put one in your wallet if you want to, and then you still could like put one. I don't know. You could probably put it in your phone, but you don't need to put it in your phone because the phone already got Find My iPhone. So you've got 4, and you get, like, you know what I'm saying? This is a sharing pack.
So if I had 4,
you can share.
Keys are the obvious one.
Car keys.
Backpack for me would be the other, and then maybe
backpack too.
Maybe a pet collar or something like that, or you could give one to a spouse or something like that. It's pretty slim, 1.25 inches tall, and weighs 11 grams. So I feel like you can kind of put it anywhere a tile could go. It's IP67 water resistant. It's made of metal, and Apple will let you engrave that metal if you're into that with a couple letters or an emoji. But the real customization is in the color of the band you choose to put it in. Also, why is the Hermes version so expensive? I'm sorry, I've never known how exactly to pronounce that. But the fact that it's literally 10 times the price of the normal sleeve for the Hermes.
They sponsored by them. That's how they get you.
Wow. But also, worth noting, the spec also lists a user-replaceable CR2032 battery, which is pretty nice. That's the same type of battery you might have in a watch or a garage door opener, one of those circular batteries, which is not the case for all of these Find My devices. Some older tiles didn't have user-replaceable batteries, so when they died, you just
Buy another one.
That was it. They were dead. You have to buy another one. Newer tiles they use are replaceable, but that's pretty sweet. I could easily have seen Apple being the company that went the opposite route and said, we made a shiny metal one, you can't take the battery out. They didn't. Nice. But yeah, I'll definitely be getting my hands on AirTags ASAP to show you how they work, what that experience is like, how well you can actually find things with them, and whether or not they're worth the money. So definitely subscribe to see that video.
Definitely.
If you haven't already.
I'm thinking about that one.
Right.
That one is paying.
Next up, we got to talk about
AirTags is
these iMacs. So all the colorful teasers leading up to this event were kind of hinting at new colorful iMacs, right? Maybe it's hindsight 2020, but it was clearly a throwback to the original colorful iMacs that came out many years ago. So here they are. Now it's 2021, and the first colorful.
I know what they mean. The colors they talking about. Like, remember how it would be like this type of color, and then it would be a lighter color, which is right here, and it looks like a dinosaur computer, but not. It's like smooth. Like
Apple desktops in a long time right here. This new iMac redesign in 7 very bright colors: red, orange, yellow, blue, aqua green, and silver. So the gist here is these are completely redesigned iMacs from the ground up, as you could probably already tell, and they have M1 chips inside. So there's new performance, new internals, and then a new outside that I don't like very much. Like, to me, okay, this iMac design is actually super impressive, technically speaking, right? It's got the squared off design now, just like the Pro Display XDR, the tilt adjustable hinge on the back, and it is crazy thin, 11.5 millimeters, and the whole thing is 10 pounds. Which is insane.
That's light.
That's about the same thickness as an Apple Watch. 2 AirTags stacked on top of each other, thicker than the whole computer, believe it or not. Fun fact, this iMac is so thin that you actually can't plug in headphones from the back anymore, because a typical headphone jack is 14 millimeters deep, and the whole computer is 11 millimeters deep, so they put the headphone jack on the side now. At least they kept it. I actually think the side is better. But there is a larger 24-inch 4480 by 2280 display up front that gets closer to the edges, and also now has white bezels for some reason.
White bezels.
And there's still a pretty solid metallic chin that now has no logo on it, and it matches the color of the back of the iMac and the base. And the sides are actually a different accent color than the back and the chin. So basically, the red iMac will have a red body and red sides, but a salmon-colored chin and stand. It's an interesting two-toned look they've got going on.
Two-tone.
And then the insides are completely redesigned around that M1 chip. Now, we already knew the M1 chip was great in the MacBook Air and the baseline MacBook Pro, but also...
Yeah, I got the MacBook Pro.
So, in the Mac Mini. So it makes perfect sense that, well, there's actually tons of room inside this iMac to continue to be great. Plus, they've dropped an improved camera system and speaker system in here. But Apple actually showed the inside of the iMac, and just look at this thing. Most of the computer is just in those tiny pieces down at the bottom, and like a slot basically where that chin is. The rest is all thermals and ribbon cables. They also made some color matching accessories like this Magic Mouse and trackpad, and a new Magic Keyboard that has a Touch ID fingerprint reader in the corner.
That's fire.
Cool. But just, it's ugly, right? I'm not crazy, am I? This replaces
the 21 it looks older than it
half-inch Intel iMac, and there's got to be a larger 27-inch iMac replacement coming with like an M1X chip or something, and I feel like that version has got to have a way smaller chin and way less crazy colors. Again, this machine, despite me thinking it's pretty ugly, is technically very impressive, being this thin, fitting a whole computer in such a thin profile, getting Dolby Atmos supporting speakers in there, the performance of the M1, the instant wake, all that great stuff that comes from the M1 chip, that is super great. The power adapter that it comes with plugs in magnetically into the back with a color matching cable, and there's an Ethernet plug on the brick of at least some of the specs, so you don't have to have a cable that runs all the way up to your desk. 4 USB-C ports on the back, 2 of which are Thunderbolt 3. I wish there was an SD card slot, but it looks like there isn't one. Also, there are only 2 ports if you buy the cheapest model. But the fact is, I saw this, and it was really cool to see 2 ports.
1200. 2 ports. Damn, you ain't get the keyboard, a Magic Keyboard, no mouse. No mouse, just a
if you buy the
keyboard.
cheapest model. But the fact is, I saw this and it was really cool to see colored iMacs again, but this iMac is only really pretty from the back. Like you get it out the box and you're obviously like, wow, this is super thin. You
Yeah,
put
the
it on
back
your
look
desk,
fire. The front
then you
look
never see the
old.
back again. I have no idea how thick these monitors are. I also don't really care. 2 inches, 3-4 inches, I don't really care. So I personally think it would have made a ton of sense for Apple to put most of this computer stuff behind the display instead of in the huge chin and make this iMac a bit thicker. Right now, it's literally 1/2 inch thick. Maybe make it 1 inch thick. I don't know, 1.5. It would still look great. It would still be very thin, but it would look way better without that chin. Oh, and then turn the bezel.
That's their selling point though. Like that's really what they're trying to do. They're trying to put less stuff in
Back
there.
to black while you're at it, please. I'm never going to get a real answer about why exactly they did it this way. Maybe it was thermals that they couldn't put it back there. I don't know. But what I'm pretty sure of is that that's exactly what they're going to do with a higher end M1X 27-inch iMac that comes out probably later this year. That higher end redesigned version will probably look much better. Because at the end of the day, keep this in mind, this bright, beautiful new iMac we're looking at is just replacing the baseline 21.5-inch model, which was not very up to date. There were people complaining about, it maxes out at 512 gigs of storage. The one it's replacing maxed out at 256 gigs of solid state storage. Then it would do like a 1 terabyte Fusion drive. So this is actually a much better computer than the 1080p outdated 21.5-inch iMac that it replaces. But I feel like there's no way future higher end Apple Silicon iMacs look like this with the white bezels and the chin. I'm just saying. Also, I was scrolling through the site, just like looking through the design, and if you get to just the right point on the page, it's at this moment where it's like changing colors. And it looks like this kind of split tone iMac, and it looks actually pretty sweet, but you can't buy a split tone iMac. I'm sure Dbrand's already on top of this. But anyway, last but certainly not least was the third and final big announcement, which was the new M1 powered iPad Pros, which again are very technically impressive. Because, the thing we were all worried about with the iPad Pros is, are they too slow? Not really. But this new iPad Pro is in the same familiar design, still just as thin and impressive and unibody metal as ever, but it's now powered by that crazy powerful and efficient M1 chip. And this is super curious to me. The A12Z Bionic was already pretty incredible for the iPad Pro, and it was optimized for a device with that thermal profile and with that battery. The M1 chip in an iPad just seems like huge overkill. So this is now an even more powerful tablet than ever before, widening their gap. And the M1 chip now also means that the USB-C port at the bottom is now a full-on Thunderbolt port for those high speeds. There's now up to 2 terabytes of max storage on the iPad Pro, which is massive, and it gets 5G support on top of that already pretty useful cellular option. And then only the larger 12.9-inch iPad Pro gets upgraded to a mini LED display. So this is something we're also looking forward to for a while. Some of us were secretly hoping for OLED. The iPad Pros have been 120 hertz LCDs for a little bit. This is probably just as good. So now this 120 hertz display will have 1600 nits max brightness in HDR. It supports the full P3 color gamut. And there's about 2600 local dimming zones for hopefully some really deep inky blacks and sharp high contrast bright scenes. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what that mini LED iPad Pro looks like versus the LCDs we've seen. But it should be great for things like photo editing, whatever video editing you might be doing on the iPad, but also especially watching movies, because let's face it, a lot of movies on iPads have the black bars at the top and the bottom. Those should be even darker, since pixels are off, even more inky blacks when watching movies, so it should be a pretty good upgrade. I'm just super curious if we're actually going to notice a performance difference between the A12Z and the M1 chip in an iPad Pro. I mean, it's just iPad OS at the end of the day, and it's going to be doing processing, and maybe those types of compilation times are faster, but will battery life be better? The iPad Pro actually has a bigger battery than the MacBook Airs, but it's 120 hertz display, so it balances out. I don't know. We'll have to test, we'll have to see. But hey, at the end of the day, even if this thing is nuclear powerful, it's still an iPad, so it's going to be amazing at all the things that iPads were already pretty good at, but also just as limited. So, I mean, there's nothing I'd like more than to try Final Cut Pro on a small 3K touchscreen with an M1 chip, but I can't because iPad. But hey, at least good on Apple for not resting on their 30 million light year lead on performance, specifically in tablets. But yeah, that's basically it. Those are the three big new bullet points. There was also some other small stuff announced at this event. There's a new Apple TV 4K, and there's also a new remote for the Apple TV, which is nice. And there's also a new purple iPhone 12. So mid-cycle refresh stuff. Honestly, I probably will end up making a video on that. We'll see.
I still didn't buy a new iPhone 12. I still got my 10. So I was gonna wait until they come out with the next one, iPhone 13. But they're coming out with another one.
Those are the main things and my reactions and my thoughts to them. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think of the announcements. But specifically, do you also think the new iMac is as ugly as I do? Because I seriously... Anyway, there's a lot of other hands.
The iMac look old. Like, they try to make it look like the old shit before they started doing the black, white, and gray. That's what they try to do.
On
that's
and
what
more videos on this sort of stuff
like
coming up. So if you want to see that, if you want to see AirTags in action, if you want to see a purple iPhone, but if you want to see the new iPad Pros and M1 iMacs, be sure to subscribe so you can be first in line to see that stuff. Hit the bell even while you're down there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Now a word from the sponsor.
No, because we don't get paid, my boy. If you made it to the end of the video, you obviously liked the video, so you obviously gotta subscribe. Hit that subscribe.